I just wanted to kind of get a little bit, briefly into your running for city council and how did that
Ah,
come about?
so my best friend of 41 years before he passed away, he attended and graduated Florida law. He did criminal justice while he was down there. Very spiritual person. Notice I didn't say religious. Very spiritual person. Even when we were in college, he went to Morehouse. I went to Georgia State. So, and then he ended up at Georgia State with me, and we served on SGA together and stuff like that. But even when we were in college, no matter how much we partied the night before, he could drop me off in my driveway at 6 o'clock on Sunday morning from a Saturday, out partying all night. I get ready to close the door. The last thing he said to me was, "I'll be back at 9 so we can go to church." I'm like, "Weren't you just out sinning with me, dude?" I'm to my in my head, but he was serious. "Rick, I'll be back. Be ready." I bet. So he was very anchored spiritually, even during the time where we were out as young men. And so I always thought that he would be a pastor
Hmm.
and run for office. And I was just like, "I'm supporting you on everything. I'm the background, I'm the number two guy, bet whatever you want to do, da da da." Well, when God moved me into ministry, God also, at least in his mind, told him that ministry wasn't for him. And then I moved down here to Peachtree City and I saw the way that the city was being run. And I knew that I could do better. So I started praying, and God dropped it into my spirit that he wanted me to run for office. And let me be clear, he said he wanted me to run for office. He never told me I was going to win. And I knew that from the rip. So I knew that if I didn't win, there was something along this journey that God wanted to either put into my spirit or extract from my spirit. Either way, it was going to be a God moment, right?
Right.
And so I started running. I ran against three guys. It was total four of us, but two of them, one had grown up in Peachtree City, born and raised, and was a doctor in the community. So he's been there forever. The other one had been there for like 30 years and had a really good name at the largest Catholic church down here. And they have a big voting block. So he ran as well. And during my journey, I had this businesswomen pack that wanted to support me. And they were pretty influential in Peachtree City. And when they found out that I was a pastor, they figured they could vet me as a candidate and they liked what they heard, but they didn't feel that they could vet me as a Christian and as a preacher. And so they're like, "Hey, we want you to go see my current senior pastor at Peachtree City Christian." They're like, "Just go in there and, see if you can get a support." What I didn't know is that they were having him vet me as a Christian. So I go in and I talk to George for about 90 minutes. And when I leave, I have his phone number, his address with instructions to go put a sign in his yard. And and that was pretty much it. So George is fairly influential in the city for sure, as well as the state. And so about 3 weeks later, he called me and he said, "Rick," he said, "why do you serve in Tucker?" Because I was out, my church was out in Tucker, Georgia. And he's like, "Why do you serve in Tucker?" And I told him all these great things about the church. And he said, "Well, I'm going to change your commute." And I started laughing, right? I thought he was kidding, but he didn't. I said, "Well, look, George," I said, "if you're serious about it," I said, "it's something to consider." I said, "But let's get through the election first." I said, "Because I don't want people to think I joined the church down here as a stunt to get votes. So if I win,
Mm,
to be
right.
authentic, and if I lose, I'm okay with it." And so we went on with the race, and I ended up losing about 103 votes. I didn't make the runoff. So that was pretty good for a no name down here in Peachtree City.
Yes. Yes.
I was very proud of that. But once I did that, I continued my conversations with George about moving from my church out there in Tucker down here in Peachtree City. And the church is less than a mile from my house. My church in Tucker was 41 miles from my house. But not that, there was a good word there. I enjoyed preaching. I enjoyed serving under Pastor Smith. But again, full circle, God had prepared my preaching style and how I understand the message and how I can communicate the message for this stage. And through prayer, he told me that's where I was supposed to be. And so I came aboard as a discipleship pastor. I gave up a preaching role, on a weekly basis and came on as a discipleship pastor. And I've been there for about 3 years, but I literally decided to join because God literally dropped in my spirit to run, but the city wasn't being run well and it's still not being run well. Now, every election, somebody's calling me like, Rick, you're going to run. Can we support you? It's really, really nice. My name has stayed really good in this community, and every candidate, every single candidate, even people that don't share my views, when they're running, both sides of the aisle, Republican and Democrat, will say, call Rick Bryant. You need to talk to him about his experience, see if, he's willing to help you or anything. So every election, I start getting calls from people saying, hey, I want to introduce myself. Can I have coffee with you? Stuff like that. So I don't think that I'm through with that just yet, but
Okay.
and then just to be honest with you, I had planned to run this cycle for mayor.
Mm.
And I am friendly with the mayor. She's been to my house, I've been to her house, and literally when I call her, she'll be at my office at the church in 20 minutes. She'll, okay, Rick, I'll see you. And that's not just for me. She's that way with everybody. If you want some more time, she'll give it to you.
Right.
But being like that and still accomplishing what you promised to do are two different things. So at any rate, I wasn't pleased with, her, the fact that she didn't really do anything that she promised she was going to do.
Right.
Had intentions of running this cycle. So, which they just qualified last week, I think was the end of qualification. So now they're starting their campaigning. But what told me that I wouldn't run this cycle is that we were on vacation. My family, we were in Belize last year, and I'm in my last semester of my Master's of Transformative Ministries. I told you I did that flip flop. I started preaching. Now I've gone back and gotten the credentials behind that. Okay, so I finished this. Yeah, so I finished this December.
Yeah.
But I've been in school for the past 2 years. And every vacation we take about 4 or 5 vacations a year. Winter break, spring break, and in the summer, Christmas vacation. Then my wife and I try to slip.
That was my life. I wish.
Yeah. It's coming. But so what I'm saying is we take vacation very seriously. I told you we travel quite a bit. We play offshore a lot. That's just what we enjoy doing. So what I'm getting at is last year we took this crazy vacation. We were in Belize and the house was amazing. I mean, it was huge and on a lagoon, and it had a pull-up dock, stuff like that. Swimming pool. We had a full-time chef, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, we did it big. We had golf carts, so we can just go on the island and not have to worry about taxis and stuff like that. On our excursions, they would pull up to our dock and get us. We didn't have to go meet anybody anywhere. They'd send a boat for us and it was a crazy vacation, right? It was my family, the 4 of us, my wife's family, my wife's sister's family. So it was 3 of them. And then my mother-in-law. So it was a total of 8 of us, but the place was immaculate, just a great time. And having your own chef and having your own pool and stuff like that, we saved about 6 hours a day that we could continue to enjoy each other. Because for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you got to get up, you got to get dressed, you got to get there, you got to wait, then you got to eat, then you got to wait to get your check and go back. We saved about 6 hours a day where we could just hang. Dinner's ready. Oh, we're going to get the kids out the pool now. Hey, come on in for dinner. They drying up and now they're at the table. So on the way home, my son's head's in my lap. He's laying down across the seats. And I said to him, I was like, Jackson, what did you enjoy most about the vacation? And before we left, I'd done all of my schoolwork. Normally when we're on vacation, I have school to do. And so I'm up late, so I'm cranky in the morning and stuff like that. I'm trying to work my schoolwork around what we normally do so that I can be, involved. And then once the kids go to bed, now I'm doing my schoolwork. But like I said, I wake up cranky because I'm tired. So at any rate, I asked my son, I said, son, And that trip I'd worked ahead of time, so I didn't have anything to do while we were on vacation. Jackson, what do you like? What did you like most about this trip? And I'm thinking he's going to talk about some of the over the top stuff that we did, excursions or whatever. And my son looked up at me, and at the time he was 6, and he said to me, "The fact that you didn't have any homework and you
Oh,
could be with us 100% of the time."
oh, yes, yes.
I literally, the first thing that came to my mind is I cannot run for office.
Mm,
Takes too much. It takes too much time. Just the running piece of it alone, the interviewing, the candidate forums that they have, the campaigning in and of itself. And lo and behold, I mess around and win. I got to go off and run the city for 4
yes,
years.
yes.
And so it just right then and there, I was like, I can't run for office. I knew that in my mind. So when I got back and, people started to heat up and start asking me, hey, you're going to run, you're going to give, you know, the mayor a run for her money this time. I was, can't do it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That is amazing that, made that decision. But I also want to know, um, I wonder if you not running for office, not only just for the sake of your family. I'm wondering because I noticed like this whole thing about church and state, right? So when it comes to politics, it's always been a conflict between politicians and them being Christians or being a follower of Christ and how that conflicts with each other. So I wonder, did that influence your decision as well?
Absolutely not. In fact,
Okay.
I had a conversation with my senior pastor about it. And I follow God. See, I'm a Christian before I'm anything. I care more about being a Christian, a husband, and a father than I do being a politician, right?
Mhm.
So let's just say it's in God's plan for me to win, and I run for office and I win, right? Because I'm always going to serve God first. You can never threaten me by saying, well, we'll vote you out next time. I don't care. You don't understand.
Yes.
God gave me this assignment. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability as a Christian first. Okay. And if that ruffles your feather, I don't care because I ain't making God mad to keep you happy.
Ah,
So,
yes,
so
yes.
literally, that is zero conflict with me.
Gotcha.
If I didn't get another term, so what? I have an amazing life. I'm a very happy person. I get to come back to this. I'm okay with that.